and gentlemen, to the Renatus J.A.M. My name is Jay Stark, and joining me, as always, is my fearless co-host,
Matt Schneider.
Mr. Matt Snyder. You know, Matt, I'm standing up for this podcast, and I'm kind of digging it, man. It's fun standing up. Gives me more energy.
You feeling the energy?
Yeah, I'm feeling the
I love
energy.
it. I would stand up too, but people would know I don't have pants on.
Well, you're not supposed to tell people you don't have pants on. You're just supposed to not have pants on and not say anything about it. That sounded worse.
Or maybe I just raised the computer with me.
There you go, man.
I got a secret.
You need one of these fancy desks that you can adjust up and down, man. That's what you need.
I have one. It's at my office.
Nice. All right. Well, so tell me, Mr. Snyder, what's new and exciting?
Well, our ICM renewal is over. I don't know if that's exciting, but it's new, right? So it's over. It's done.
Renewal is done.
Dunsky.
Yes. Complete. Fertig. No more.
Yes.
So what happens if somebody forgot to renew their ICM?
Well, they can become an ICM again, brand new.
That's right. They can start over. Absolutely. You know, we had, it's so interesting. You know, the renewal period runs from December 1st until December 31st. And then Bob always has a grace period where he says, hey, if you couldn't make it happen in the month of December, I'll give you until the end of January to make it happen. So he allows a full extra month. So guess, this is crazy. In the last 7 days, do you remember the number? How many people we had sign up as ICMs?
Oh, I think it was 324, wasn't it?
It was over 300 people waited until the very last week to get renewed, which
it wasn't even like the last week. It was like the last few days.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. We had people that were chatting in at like 11 p.m. Sunday night, like, hey, how do I get renewed? Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I know.
That.
So and as much as I want to be able to accommodate for those that call in and want renewals, we don't even have the ability at this point.
Right. It is hard coded into Helios. We don't have that flexibility that we may have had in years past. So that's it's done. So let's talk about the national conference, 2021 Renatus National Conference. This year we have the title Shifting Higher into Focused Transformation, and it's all about a new transformation for people that are looking for a new way of doing business, are looking for the latest and greatest. And in my opinion, the Renatus mission statement talks about providing people with the best tools and systems and support possible to help to empower them to go out and create their own success. And I feel like this is a realization of that mission statement. That's what's going to be in this national conference. I'm
looking forward to it, man. I can't wait. I say that every year, but it's true every year.
Every year. So if you want to get registered for the national conference, what you need to do is you need to go into the Helios calendar, forward it until March, because this is March 18th, 19th, and 20th this year. And then go ahead. There's an event there called National Conference. Get registered. Get your ticket now. So the cost of the conference is $275, but we do have an early bird discount of $50. So if you get registered before March 1st, you're going to get a $50 discount. You're actually going to get your ticket for $225. Now, Mr. Schneider, what comes with the purchase of that ticket?
Well, obviously the ability to view the national. Word on the street is you get a T-shirt, which is pretty sweet. What other? T-shirt. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. And if memory serves, also, people get to select their sizes this year, right? Instead of just kind of getting what you get, which I think is pretty cool. I hope to see more people be able to get a shirt that fits them and then be able to wear it, because I love mine, man. I've got every year. I've actually got multiples of every year because usually there's a few left over that are like, you know, not my size, but I still wear them because they're cool.
So this year, because we're going to be shipping out all the t-shirts to everybody, we're able to delay the printing. So every single person gets to select their size, which means you buy a ticket, you're going to get the right size of t-shirt. Now, we expect that if you want to get access to the national conference, you're going to buy that ticket. If you want to view the national conference, we expect you to buy that ticket. We're happy to see groups of people all coming together to have those view parties so that everybody can assemble in their little groups all over the nation. We are a family. That's what it's all about. And we expect you to get that ticket to take part. Now, with that comes the recognition of having attended the national conference, as well as the possibility of getting your name on the award and getting your name in the slideshow for the awards banquet. So make sure that you are getting your ticket. Make sure that you get all the benefits of attending the national conference. You know, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. You know,
yes, sorry, it will. And I think what one of the things that you just said was you must have a national conference ticket to have your name on an award.
Yes.
Right? Does that include business partners as well?
That does include business partners as well. Yeah,
meaning they must have a ticket too.
That's right.
Okay. You heard it. You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. You got to have a ticket if you want to be on an award.
Just in case you haven't heard it before, you heard it here. But it's interesting to me that every time that I talk with the leaders in the company, I talk with the internal team, I always ask them, when was that moment where the business really went from your head to your heart? Where was that moment where you were not just convinced that it was real, but you were actually converted to it, where you start to feel it more? And without fail, the national conference is the most popular answer. People say going to the national conference, seeing the people, hearing the stories, being able to feel the energy. Now, we can't gather this year. The good news is we're already making plans for next year so that we can assemble together in our big group once again. But we still, that emotion, that feeling, and all of the training that comes with it, it's awesome.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy. All right. So, Mr. Schneider, we have the one and only today. We have the top dog himself. Why don't you go ahead and introduce our featured guest today?
We have our illustrious PAC member and multi-time 5-star winner circle champion. Man, there's so many things. There's so many things that I could highlight. So many award categories. So many milestones that I could highlight. We could be here forever. But we've got our PAC member Scott Rowe on the line. Scott, why don't you come out here, man?
I think you're still muted.
Oh,
there we go.
I don't know how to.
There you go. You're good.
I don't know.
You got
Am I good? Is that an Aaron thing?
I think Aaron did it for you. Yeah.
There we go. What's up, brothers?
Hey,
man.
What's happening?
It's been too long.
I'll never forget. You and Nancy were the first ICM to crack $1 million in Renatus. Do you remember that?
Man, we're approaching
right.
5 mil now, just on the marketing side. So
yes,
that's awesome.
I remember that.
Oh, that's awesome. So you've been with Renatus since the very beginning, the inception of Renatus. You were on the Founders Advisory Board to start with, that was later converted to the PAC, the President's Advisory Council. What have been some of the biggest changes that you've seen come down the pike with Renatus?
The education and the delivery is awesome. So, you know, what the amazing thing about Matt's dad, Bob, is his ability to attract unbelievable talent, right, to this idea that you know he hatched in the exercise room with you, Jay, right?
That's right.
I can go back, dude. I'm in the building where Bob actually he came to our Christmas party. I've known Bob Steiner, the founder, since 2006, right? And so, and fortunately for us, meeting him back then was a change of life for us. And we didn't meet Bob initially, but it wasn't very long because the founder of this company, Bob, is out there so much, right? It wasn't very long before we were shaking his hand. That's how accessible he is. And so this was back in 2006. And the same idea was an education company, right? Fortunately for us, he recognized that his partner wasn't worth sticking with, and he dumped that guy, right? Which was awesome for all of us. And then 2011. So I was with him. It's a nice way of saying it, yeah.
That is a nice way of saying it.
It's a nice way. Yeah. Listen, Bob's good. He's a good judge of character. He's a good judge of character, and that guy didn't have much. So there we go. So
there you go.
He's gone. Right. So anyway.
You said so it, anyway.
That's all. And you know what? It's the truth. All right. So anyway, so when I met Bob, initially, I'll tell you the biggest change was initially we had to travel for any kind of education, right? So we had to literally leave our place, get a plane, get a hotel, and travel to get it. And Bob's genius, when he laid out the plan here at the office, he says, listen, delivery is going to be much better. They're going to be able to watch it on their phone, right? So somebody could literally take a class at their house, right? And let's say they figure out, they're taking Mark Kohler's class on taxes, and they get to watch it digitally at 2:00 in the morning, which was much different than the beginning of my career, right? And so let's say they come up to a part in the class where Mark's talking about setting up a family management company, getting the kids debit cards, right? And you could actually timestamp a note in there. You could put a digital note in there so that you don't have to rewatch the class all over. You could take that digital note to your accountant's office and say, hey, listen, I need you to set up this system like this. And you can replay it on your phone in front of the accountant's face, right? So that they get it. They're like, oh, a person today could literally take their short sale class because it's full of different scripts. I mean, everything's a script. You're ringing the doorbell, you're talking to somebody, script. You're sitting on the kitchen table, script. You're walking a BPO, script. You're talking to loss mitigator, script, right? You're in the title company conference room and you're going through documents with the potential client, having them sign off on the short sale package, script. So the great thing about this education today and the genius of it all is that you could take the class at home and then you could pull up to the cul-de-sac of the person you need to talk to, right? Even if you're waiting for the BPO or you're going to ring the doorbell, you can go, all right, let me just review my class a little bit to that. And you hit the timestamp, you could watch that 10 minutes and go, all right, I'm ready. The delivery of this education is by far one of the best in the industry. The accessibility, the way you could use it to literally do deals, right, is genius. And that's one of the biggest changes I've seen from the time I got started with Bob Steiner to what we are today. Is the caliber of the education because of what Bob attracts, but the delivery is absolutely second to none. You'll never see anything like that in the industry.
That's phenomenal because I can't tell you how many times we have been in the middle of a transaction, my wife and I, and then we've gone back and watched the class just to make sure that we're not missing any of the pieces or that we're not leaving money on the table at the end of the deal. And so you're absolutely right. That's funny. That's one thing I hadn't even really considered because since the beginning of Renatus has always had that online education, always been about broadcasting the education. But you're right. That has been a huge change. That's really incredible.
Well, not a change in Renatus initially because it was all video based, right? And there were even people. Listen, I came from the old days with Bob, where you had to travel, and there were people that said to me, "Well, it's just videos now." I'm like, "What are you kidding me? You don't have to get on a plane to take the class. It's awesome, right?" It's like if you think about your life, and the way you do it, I mean. I have a job and I want to get out of that job through real estate investing. Well, it used to be that I had to actually take off a week of work to go take some classes to be able to use it. But I did. Yeah. And I had to remember what I got in class and I had to read my notes, right? Today, it is a digital encyclopedia full of vetted, qualified experts that you get to take with you anywhere you want. I have taken a class waiting for a plane, right, at the airport. And that's I mean, again, you tell me there's inside this industry, if there's something like that you get access to for life at some levels of the education. So it's incredible.
Yeah, that is incredible. That's really cool, man. That's really cool. So tell me, you've been around Renatus now for more than a decade. Mm-hmm. What is the secret of longevity with Renatus?
The way that it's sold and the way it's supported, right? Huge difference. So other programs that, don't get me wrong, this is not the only real estate investing education program out there. But if you go to another program, they're under pressure. The people in front of the room are pure sales pros, right? They're under pressure to get a sale that weekend at a hotel, right? If they don't make the sale, they don't get, even they get, and I know I've been in this long with you, Jay and Matt. And let me just say this. Here's a big change. Matt's actually growing hair on his face. When I met Matt a long time ago, he was in the corner as this little kid that Bob Steiner had brought to a regional event. I'm like, oh, nice. Look at the little kid. Nice to meet you, Matt. And today, I've seen this guy now. He's got kids. He's a big dude in the company now. So it's awesome. All right. Anyway, back on track. You're an old fart now. Yeah. So here we go. That's how long I've been around, right? And I had more hair when we started. So did I. Yeah, I've seen your hair go from your to your face. Actually,
it just went down. Yeah.
What were we talking about again? This is fun.
We're talking about longevity with Renatus.
Yeah. So the sale. So if you see these other programs, they send sales pros in, they build an event for a weekend on the radio, TV, whatever. And then they got to sell in the back of the room. And then they pack the circus up and they disappear, right? And in my experience, having been a part of this thing and helping Renatus build, there's a lot of complaining. Like a lot of people will come up after a meeting, right? And they'll be like, are you like those other programs? You pay, you got lots of promises and you don't keep them. And just sounds like one of those other things. And unfortunately, that's their experience, right? They're bringing in a tainted experience, right? And the difference, the longevity of Renatus is simply this. When somebody comes into the room here, I'm not a sales pro, despite the fact that I'm actually getting paid, which is part of the generosity of Renatus, right? Renatus is saying, hey, if you have a good experience and you get on Facebook and you're like, hey guys, I'm checking out another property. Hey, should I keep this toilet? Ew, right? So if you get out there and you start broadcasting what you're doing in social media, you almost become like your own little reality show, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the ability to take what you know and what you're doing and get it out there and have somebody come and go, hey, J.A.M, I've been watching you on Facebook, dude. Can you tell me what you're doing? Well, now you can actually invite him down and Bob will pay you on that commission, right? So now we get paid. So now what Bob did was he didn't pay people that didn't give a crap. A sales pro. The sales pro's like, I need this money. What he is doing, he's paying people that care about other people, that are seeing other people do stuff. So the money is coming back into the community, right? For all that care. Like it's, and I tell people all the time, like I have made a lot of money referring people. In fact, my wife and I made it a business initially. So we're like, and here's me at the first meeting. I'm like, let me get this straight. Here's how I came into this business. I'm sitting in the room. I didn't want to be in the room. My wife dragged me down. And this is part of the longevity. So my wife sees a roadside sign, goes to a meeting. And I had already been to one of these 3-day events at a hotel where they try to sell in the back of the room. And I may have bought had I had money, but I was broke and unemployed. I'd lost a big $212,000 year job and subsequently lost everything. So, I couldn't make a decision, a $50,000 to a $100,000 decision in a 3-day weekend, right? I couldn't be impulsed like that. So I'm like, that's all they want. They just wanted our money. And now they're packing up the circus. And I had this bad taste in my mouth. So my wife sees this little roadside sign. It's a handwritten roadside sign. And she comes running in. She's like, I saw a sign. And I'm like, from God? Because it looks like it's pretty divine there. She goes, no, there's a sign out there. And I see, and I'm like, you mean the handwritten magic marker sign that says, become a real estate investor? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, if that person can afford to work with me in real estate, how come they don't have a sign on the highway 294? Because we're used to that type of marketing, right? For these things. And her answer was perfect. It's why we're here. It's why we're doing well. She's like, I don't know. And she called. And then she's like, hey, I set us up an appointment to go see this lady named Anna at the hotel. And I'm like, oh no, this guy's not going, and neither are the credit cards. So she goes down to the meeting, right? And this is something this is longevity. She goes to the meeting. She sees the meeting. There's no credit card machines in the back. And she meets a nurse, a firefighter, an art teacher, an ex-art teacher that's now got rental property. They all got rental properties, right? And if you take any of our classes, if you take the drive classes, you'll know why that was good for my wife. And so she comes back home. She's like, it was incredible because of the people. These people have been there every single week. They were all a testimony in themselves, having the fact that they've been going every single week for a year, not having just come from a hotel for 3 days and all of a sudden bought some stuff, right? So the longevity is in the model that's been set up, right? And listen, even through COVID, we're not meeting we haven't been in this building for a year. We haven't had a meeting in a year, right? But we have cameras in the ceilings. And we've been broadcasting everything since 2011. So we're like, all right, hey, everybody just join us online like you normally do. And it's still that same feeling, right? It's saying like, hey, these guys are here for us every single week. So the longevity is in the fact that you only have to purchase once. You're going to hang out with people on a weekly basis that only purchased once, right? Made that one purchase. And Renatus is not asking you for anything else. Other programs might do this to you, Jay. So if you bought our program last year, Jay, we might send you an email and say, hey, Jay, you bought our fix and flip program last year. We've re-upped it, and you're going to get a discount because you're a valued customer, right? So for these next 30 days, we're going to give you a discount on our new program this year. And if you take advantage of it because you're a valued customer, do it, right? So they're going to resell you something. And Renatus never did that. They never did that. So the longevity is, hey, we're interested in your success. Yes, it costs us something to put up campus. Yes, it costs us something to pay instructors. Yes, we have to pay administration. We have to pay for servers. We have to pay for all this stuff, right? So there is a cost that has to be incurred, but you're not going to have to do that every single time we have something new, right? The longevity of Renatus is because they thought long. They didn't think short sale. They thought, hey, let's get the sale and let's disappear. They thought long. How can we actually keep people together? How can we make it a value to them if for some reason they're having success and they invite their cousin down, right, to the meeting? So Bob, and I know Bob. Matt, I think you know Bob. Jay, you know Bob. Bob comes from a network marketing background, right? And he's been through different network marketing companies where they sold a product and he got ramped up and excited about the product, and all of a sudden that product's gone. You have to take your whole team to another network marketing program. And that experience says, you know what? I don't want that happening. I want people actually making money with the product that they get, so that even if they don't decide to network market, we still have success stories from the product. Right. And I can tell you this, I have helped probably over 15,000 people in 14 years based on the meetings I've done. I'm not saying me individually, right? But I've had these rooms full, these webinars full. So I've helped probably 15,000 people, and that's why we've got this award 10 years in a row, which is the #1 team in the country award, right? And the key is I have more students that make money on real estate than any of the networking they're doing for the marketing side, right? That's a success right there. That's the reason that Renatus has longevity, because the product works so well. This is when I'm like, hey, how's your marketing going? Oh, I'm not doing that anymore. I've got fix and flips happening. I'm working on this next fix and flip. I got 13 short-term rentals, right? So I refer if somebody asks me, but I'm not treating that like a business anymore, because what happens is the product, the money they're making from the product has eclipsed the time they need to put into marketing as a business. Does that make sense? Yeah. Renatus's longevity is built into that. Hey, we have a chance for you to make money right away. In Nancy and I's case, we started referring right away because we came from sales. We're like, let me get this straight. You're willing to pay us? I mean, I could put as many people in the room next week as I want. You're going to pay me on everyone that gets started? They're like, yeah. I'm like, and here's my question when I got started. I'm like, is it money? Are you paying us cash? And the guy's like, what could it be? I'm like, it could be like Renatus bucks. If I go to the campus, I get a Twinkie, I get a hoodie, I can exchange Renatus bucks, right? And they're like, no, it's cash. I'm like, you're going to give us cash? They're like, yes. I'm like, all right. Do I have to have the whole education paid off on the type of billing I'm doing before I see cash? No, yeah, you can pay your billing with your cash. I'm like, really? back then it was, UGA kind of stuff. So, and then the third thing I said was, I'm like, is there a limit? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, you don't know me, but I come from an industry where I had to actually put sales reps in the field every single day. And I had to renew that sales. I had to find new people and then build offices. I'm like, I can write copy. So if I write good enough copy that puts 100 people in the room next week, I'm going to get paid on all of them. And they're like, well, all of them that get started. I'm like, fine. And that was my first night. I figured that out my first night. I looked at my wife and I'm like, if this is real, we'll never need a job again. We're just going to play the law of averages. And it worked. I mean, look, there's 10 people like me out there, right? I came down not wanting to come down. I'm ready to get started, right? So if I can find those 10 people this year, then it's $110,000 this year. Let's go, right? Like, so that was my mindset when I saw it all. It was like a 30,000 foot view. I'm like, are you kidding me? I don't need to find a job now based on the money they're paying me next week. And I'm going to learn how to build wealth and take care of my family with real estate later on. That's the longevity right there. I mean, he built it so that you can take care of yourself now and really take care of yourself later. That's why it'll be here for a long time.
I love it. And it sounds like you're a process guy. Like you really like looking at the process, analyzing where the process is at and seeing how you can plug into it and kind of feed it. So what would you say to somebody who's getting started right now, today? Somebody who's brand new coming into Renatus, where would you tell them to get started? What advice would you give to them?
I do this every single week. You ready for this? I'm going to do it for the podcast because they may not see my meetings. My meetings today, when I run an intro meeting, is all about the person on the other side of the screen that's not started with us. By the time they shut down the intro, they're like, I can do that. Right? Because the more they can. So I ask them, hey, can you watch TV? Oh, well, yeah. Well, then you can watch a class. We got that out of the way, right? Do you use Facebook? Yeah. Do you ever put like a hamburger on Facebook and then get all kinds of likes and loves and, oh, that looks delicious? Do you ever do that? Oh, I do it all the time. Do you ever make money on it? No. You wanna? Yeah. So here's the process. Let me tell you, everybody that's watching this, if you're brand new, the first thing you should do is open up your class, right? You got your class open on the screen. Don't start it yet. And then take a selfie. Hey, guy. And then put that on Facebook. Here's what you do. Hey, guys, starting my real estate investing career. Wish me luck. Now you've just started your reality TV show on Facebook, right? So you could do this on Instagram. You could do this on TikTok. You do it on whatever. I don't Twitter. I don't know what you're using, but Facebook. Everybody's using Facebook. You just simply take a selfie. Hey, guys, started my real estate investing career. Wish me luck. You're not selling anything. You're just telling people. And then any like that you get, any love you get, anything that you get, what I want you to do, I tell you, I'm like, private message them and simply say this. Hey, I hear you. I see the fact that you like the fact that I'm doing real estate. I'm sorry. I see the fact that I see the let's do this. I do this all the time.
You got it. You got this.
I got this. So if somebody likes it, you private message them and you simply say, hey, I noticed that you like the fact that I'm doing real estate. How would you like to join me? I noticed you like the fact that I'm doing real estate. How would you like to join me? Now, what they're going to get back, and they just started their new career. They just started their real estate career. Okay, because real estate, as we know, is about collaboration, right? I noticed you like the fact that I'm starting a real estate investing career. How would you like to join me? And they might get back something that says, I don't know. What does that look like? And then you say, I don't know. Maybe I go find the deals. Maybe I work the project. We could use your signature and you could start getting rich on that. Maybe a retirement plan. You want to get bigger points on a retirement plan you currently have. So you're talking to your friends and family about joining you in a deal, or I don't know, maybe you want to go out and look at properties with me and know what you're doing. I'll get you on a webinar or into a meeting and you could see exactly what's happening. Either way, you're building a real estate foundation to partner up with people, or you're sending them to meetings where you can make $1,000 to $11,000. Right? So you don't make sure, hey guys, started my real estate investing career. Wish me luck. Should be your first day. And then you take the class. While you're taking the class, Facebook is actually fermenting. It's building. You're now making wine on Facebook. People are like, love it. Attaboy, go get them, kid. That's going to be happening on Facebook. And all you got to reach out and say, hey, I noticed you like the fact that I'm doing real estate. How'd you like to join me? And then when you're out there looking at properties, or if you go to a property tour, hey guys, look, we're at Jay's property. He's fixing and flipping this thing bad. So you're taking pictures of what you're doing on your reality TV show, and you're collecting more likes. But as you stick with this, and this is important, as you stick with this, your credibility is going to go up as you're using social media in that capacity. And people are like, man, I walked into my class reunions, guys, and they've been watching me on Facebook. They're like, dude, you and your wife are crushing it. We should talk. I'm like, we should, right? So that's how, I mean, if you're going to get started, make sure that everything's working for you, right? Hey guys, started my real estate investing career. Wish me luck. Put that on Facebook and then take your class. And then after your class, I don't care if you took an hour, if you took 2 hours, you took 3 hours, you took 4 hours. How much ever you took, go back on Facebook and say, holy crap, what I didn't know about taxes. This is going to change everything in my game, right? Just kind of sum it up on Facebook a little bit and keep talking about what you're doing. That's what I would, if I were you guys. You're going to build your credibility, and you won't know it. I mean, you might be on the softball field like I was. Somebody comes off the out of their Hummer. Rowe, are you doing real estate? I'm like, oh, you saw that, huh? And now the guy I'm playing catch with, you doing real estate? Yeah. Thought you were broke. I am broke. That's what I was saying. Well, how you doing real estate if you're broke? We'll talk about it at Burritos and Beer tonight. Let's win a game, right? So now at Burritos and Beer, I'm on a napkin explaining wholesaling to them. But I'm like E.F. Hutton. Everybody's watching me do it, right?
Oh, that's awesome. That's amazing.
That's how I would start my career if I were starting.
So just baby steps. Just giving an honest, accurate report of what's really going on, and then being consistent in that report. Baby steps.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people say, well, I can't tell anybody about it because I haven't done a deal. Right? Right? I'm like, you're missing. By the time you're doing a deal, so many people are in your dust, they don't even want to talk to you because you're too highfalutin now, right? But if they have been part of your journey and maybe contacted you that time you set up your family management company, you didn't do a deal yet, but you're changing your tax structures, right? You didn't do a deal yet, but you take pictures of the kids getting their debit cards at the bank. Hey, got the kids a debit cards. We got a family, right? You didn't do a deal yet, but you're at a property tour where you're checking out a deal. Guys, I just got started. Look what my crew's doing. This group is great, right? So it doesn't have to be about your success. Like it's a weird mentality where if I'm not a success, I don't think anybody will listen. By the time you're doing a deal, you may have been so far out there that people are like, well, I can't be like you. You've separated yourself so much. But if you could inch along and people could get in there, then you're going to make money. You're going to make money because Renatus is willing to pay you just because you got the message out there. And B, you're going to attract resources to you. There are 4 currencies in the world, only 4. I don't know who said 5, but they usually include credit. Credit is a relationship currency. So there are 4 currencies. One is money, one is time, one is knowledge, and one is relationship, right? And when you're either using time to get money or you're using money to get time. I spend money on contractors and landscapers instead of mowing my own grass. Does that make sense? So if I can spend money on a contractor or a landscaper, then I can spend time with my wife somewhere else in quality time. So I'm actually using money to get better time, or with the kids, right? And then in the knowledge and relationship category, what you know has you where you're at. Knowing more about money, you just increase the value of the money you have, right? Knowing more about time or how to run a project, you increase your time value. But knowing more about all of that attracts relationships going, hey, Matt, I see you doing some stuff on Facebook and real estate. Can we talk? And when you're the smartest person at the Christmas party, if you're the smartest person on the softball field, if you're the smartest person at the class reunion, and everybody knows it, they're going to be like, whoa, your impression has gone up about your life. Right. So now your impression is up, and the attraction and the respect that you're going to create in your life is going to be able to, you're going to be able to help other people. And don't ever forget that. Don't take advantage of people. Don't hurt people. Make sure that you're helping them. Make sure you're doing it legally. You know what you're doing. You're dotting the I's and crossing the T's. You're you're accountable to any word that you put out there, right? But the amount of people that you can help based on who you become, your relationship currency is going to go up. There are a lot of people on the line that may be listening to this. Maybe you've never done a deal with your cousin. Maybe you don't talk about money, right? You ever heard that, guys, before? Like, it's rude to talk about money, right?
Yeah.
Who taught us that? Like, talk about money all the time. And if we ain't talking about money, imagine all these pockets of people in your family aren't talking about what they got. A lot of families could put their money together and buy strip malls that will take care of the kids for generations, right? So if you're putting it out there that you're doing well and people just nudge you like, hey, man, see you on Facebook. Good dude, man, go do. How'd you get into this? I guarantee pretty soon you're going to be talking about money. How'd you get into this? I mean, I didn't have any money when I started, but I didn't need it. Well, how come you didn't need money? There's a guy in the group that actually funded my first fix and flip. He was using his retirement plans. So he came to the group to use the retirement plans he had created through a job. He'd never had a company before, this guy named Gene. So Gene and I are sitting in class together. We're sitting in study groups together. We're sitting in workshops together. And I went out and found a deal. And I knew Gene had money because he had used the class to go self-directed. So I'm like, hey, Gene, I got a deal. You got money. Let's do this. He didn't ask me for my credit. Didn't ask me for my cash flow because he knew I was broke. He knew I was in the room. But his situation was able to partner up with my situation, which was I'm doing the project, and we could split money. So, back then it was a split. We split $95,000 in cash, right? So he got 45 and change. I got 45 and change. And then now my cousin's like, well, I got money, right? So you telling your story then draws their resource out, right? But if you're not creating stories by taking a class, by getting in study group and hearing stories and maybe even going out and finding deals or doing it. Hey, let me tell you a story about this deal I saw in study group. This guy brought this deal in. You may have brought, hey, man, that would be great to do. You might be able to use their resource, right? That they have and help them out. You're helping you and their family.
So by increasing your value, you can then bless the lives of the people around you and help them to increase their value as well.
Absolutely. The relationships become more valuable if you know more. Does that make sense? If you're all just ignorant talking about how bad the Bears are, hey, Bears pretty bad this year. Hope the Blackhawks are better. That's not a very valuable conversation, right? There's not a lot of equity in that conversation.
Right.
But and this always happens at a party. Hey, Matt, so what's new, man? Whatever Matt says next could attract a lot of attention. No. What's new? He's like, wow, just picked up a 6 unit. We're in rehab right now. And wow, holy crap, dude. That's impressive. You become the focus. Everybody else is just listening to you like, wow, that's incredible. Because you're doing something they all secretly wanted to do their whole entire life. Everybody has driven past an apartment complex going, man, the guy that owns that's probably in Florida right now playing golf. Right? We've all driven past the lottery, the lottery billboard, the one that has the numbers on it every single month. When we had a job, right? We had a job. We're driving. I used to do it on the way to the office, right? The lottery, the Mega Millions it was electronic. It would show us the number. And I'm like, oh, if I won that. And then from that billboard onto the office, I had it spent. I'm like, oh, this would be the mansion I would have. And this would be the place I would have. Remember those days? You'd have it all spent by the time you got to the office in fantasy, right? Yeah. Well, if you're sitting in the room doing things other people fantasized about, your life is about to become a lot easier.
Oh, dude, I love that.
So the takeaway is tell people what you're doing.
And hopefully you're doing it the right way. Hey guys, started my real estate investing career. Wish me luck. Yeah. Maybe they're going to tell you, right?
It's
right.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna be like, dude, I saw you on Facebook. Good job on that real estate stuff. I'm like, yeah, it is a good job. I'm looking for people that want to join me in that. Anybody want to get out of their jobs using real estate? Yeah, I've always thought about it. We should have dinner. And that's how I couch it. A lot of times at the party, I'm not, unless they're pushing the issue, right? it's funny because if you do this right, you don't have to get out there, go and throw up on people about what you're doing, trying to attract them. You're just going to put out, hey, yeah, doing a deal. It's going really well. We're looking to make, I don't know, $72,000 on this next one. So thank God. Really? And then they just like, yeah, how'd you get into that? Right? Like then they draw a little bit more of a question out, like, right? And you stay out in front. Wow, I funny thing is I was broken unemployed and my wife saw a roadside sign and all of a sudden she's dragging me to a meeting I didn't want to go to. But thank God I went, because a nurse, a firefighter, and an art teacher, the art teacher had 22 properties paying him rent, and that replaced his income. That became my model. I wasn't looking to become a millionaire. I was looking for peace of mind. No traffic, plenty of money. Oh, aren't we all? It's funny, people. And then somebody goes, man, aren't we all looking for that? I'm like, it's funny because some people are looking for it. They never take action. They go to work dreaming about it every single day. So I'm looking for partners that would like to do that. I mean, if you're interested, we should probably get out of our jobs together. Sounds good. We should talk. Right. So, I've learned that I just live my life, and the people that want to know more about it will bang down my door. And I live a lot of my life on Facebook.
So let me ask you one more question. We're running a little short on time, but you have had an incredibly high level relationship with Bob Steiner for a long time. And I'm just curious describe the man for us. So that
I think I've slept in Matt's room.
Probably.
I think you're right. I think you have.
I think you have too.
Dude, I slept in Matt's room. When Bob was an empty nester, he got lonely. He's like, you don't have to go to the hotel. You can stay at the ranch. I'm like, I'm good, dude. I'm in. Anyway, that's how. So let me put it this way.
That's how bad he misses me. That's what I heard. That's how bad he misses me.
Right. Here's our relationship today. Here's our relationship today. He doesn't lose sleep upstairs knowing that I'm downstairs in the same house locked in with him. So there's a level of trust there.
Well, that's good. But tell me a little bit about how you would describe Bob to somebody who's never met him.
Bob is the most ethical man I know, right? And listen, I've had conversations. I remember parked in the DoubleTree over here. Hours. We're in the Lamborghini together, right? I'm dropping off his hotel. And we're 3 hours later, he's finally going to the hotel. And we're talking about our perspective of God, right? I remember dropping him off at the airport. I'm like, you know what I love about you, Bob? He's like, what do you love? I go, I love that you love God. And it permeates everything that you do, right? And I'm going to tell you about this conversation. This is funny. He and I have traveled a lot, every regional, right? We're constantly hanging out together. We have traveled a lot. I may have more time with Bob Steiner in this company than anybody else based on my traveling for regionals, right? And I had a story. So I'm returning a rental car. This is Bob Steiner all the way. I'm returning a rental car. And the lady, I forgot to put gas in it. And this is not, he wasn't with me. I just had this experience. It was in Atlanta. I remember this. So I'm returning the rental car. I didn't have it filled up. Right. And I got out of the car, and the lady who's checking me in, she's like, no, any problems with the car? I'm like, I didn't get to the gas station, so I apologize. You have to charge me for that. And here's what she says. She goes, well, for $20, it might be filled up now. Right. So she's saying, hey, just pay me. Right. I'm like, done. Right. Because the thing was empty. It would have cost me more money to fill it up at the gas station. So for $20, she marks it in the thing as filled. Right. I don't think I'm like, score, champion. And most humans would. Right. And the next conversation I had with Bob Steiner, the next time I saw him, I'm like, hey, let me tell you how God was looking after me. Right. So I put, because here's me. I completely believe in everything's perfect. We're going to heaven. That's me. Still me. Right. I literally have talked to him about having conversations with God. Some of the conversations I've had. But in this example, I'm like, let me tell you how God helped me this week. And he's like, oh, I'm definitely interested in that. So I'm like, listen, I didn't get to the gas station, but by the time I got to the car rental place, God put an angel in my midst, and took care of me for $20. And he looks at me. This is the best. He looks at me and goes, that's not God. That's evil. That is not. Somebody lost on that.
That's right? Stealing. That's what he's going to say.
He goes, that's stealing. That's wrong. That's wrong. Right? Like, she defaulted the company. And it hit me. I'm like, he's right. He's right. Somebody lost in that relationship. Right? Somebody got, I don't know. Somebody lost. Somebody, what's the word? Somebody lost in that relationship. Right? Somebody got defaulted on, cheated, whatever. And that's what I love about Bob. Yeah. The equity in that guy is like, he teaches the negotiation class, but he also says, he goes, look, a win-win is a win-win. We're not, it doesn't always have to be equal, but whatever we're willing to take, you're taking care of somebody. You're not taking advantage of somebody, right? You're taking care of something. You're not taking advantage of something. And that's how he looks at life. And that's why we should all hang out with him. That's why I should hang out with him more, because I learned a lesson in that. I'm like, you're right. Somebody did lose. You're right. Somebody got lied to. And that's it. Somebody's got balancing the books and something didn't make sense. There wasn't enough gas in that car. You're right, Bob. Whereas I looked at it as a selfish win for me, he looks at it as a grand scheme of things. Does that make sense? Of morality, a grand scheme of morality. And that's why we should hang out with Bob.
Honesty always comes first with that guy.
That man. You want to hear another story? I got another story for you. You want to hear a Bob Steiner story?
Yeah, buddy.
All right. This is, and I don't know if this is going to be good for me to say about myself, but I'm going to have to say it because it's honest. All right. So I'm in a movie. We do movies all the time, right? So and I've known this guy now for 14 years, right? And we do movies all the time. And so we go to the movie Flight. The movie. You guys ever seen that movie with Denzel Washington?
What's it called?
I haven't seen it.
Flight? Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it.
That's because you guys live in Utah. All right, ready for this? He comes to Chicago to see the movie, right? And he wanted to see it. So I'm going to put it out there. This guy, when he lands at the airport, what are we doing tonight? I'm like, movie? He goes, absolutely. And I'm like, how about that new movie Flight? He goes, oh, man, I want to see that. So we go to the movie theater, and we're sitting there, and we didn't check the rating. We just saw the trailers, right? So we're in the movie, and I kid you not, the first opening scene is in a hotel. Denzel Washington's a pilot, and he's in the bed with the stewardess, and she gets up, and it's a nude scene, right? And Bob Steiner does this. He goes, "Oh man, why do they have to do this?" He's the only guy in the whole theater covering his face at 50 some years old, right? He's like, "Oh, why do they have to do this? They don't need. Movies would be fine without this." Right? Now, me being me from Chicago and not Bob Steiner, and this is our relationship completely. I look at him, I go, "It's okay, Bob. I'm enjoying enough for both of us." But again, that's why we love Bob Steiner, right? We love Bob because his moral compass is so good. You don't got to question it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So whereas I'm just naturally walking through the world as a human, right? He's walking through the world as an example.
Oh, that's so true. That's perfect. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And that's truly awesome. I appreciate that so much. And I've been working side by side with Mr. Schneider for almost the same amount of time that Renatus has been around. I came in, I think, 2 months after Renatus was started. And I have had the same experience where he continues to impress me with not only his commitment to his morals and his ethics, but also his commitment to ensuring that he doesn't take advantage of people, that he's constantly giving, he's under promising and over delivering consistently. And you're absolutely right. He is an example in this life.
And he's always delivering lessons, right? So I got to, that was a lesson. He goes, "That's not God, that's evil." Like, what are you kidding me? Somebody lost in that example. And that was a little training for me, right? He didn't, here's the great thing about Bob too. He'll be honest with you to a fault. And I don't think there's a fault about being honest. I'm not trying to say that. What I'm trying to say is he didn't go, good. Sounds good, Scott. Got your $20, right? Or got your tank full. He didn't say that. He took a moment to say, oh, there's a moment here to teach. Like, here's what I believe, right? He's not afraid to say, here's what I believe. And that's the kind of mentor he is. He's a mentor without even trying to be a mentor. Again, he's an example. I'm a human running through the world going, hey, it's awesome. And he's an example of what's possible, right? Like, he's the most moral man I know on the planet, for sure.
That's awesome. Dude, I could sit here and talk with you all day long, but unfortunately we are out of time. I so appreciate you taking time with us today and sharing your insights, your experience, and it's evident why you have been the top dog for so long, my friend. You are awesome.
We should do a part 2 and 3.
Okay, man. We should. I'm down.
Thanks, Scott. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you to Aaron Peterson, our producer. As always, you do a phenomenal job. And just one more time, Renatus rocks.